Do you notice how things shift when things are going your way? Right? How the time flies when you're with your loved one, or when you're doing something you're really engaged with, time just seems to disappear. It's what some people call Einstein time. Really, that remembering that it is truly relative when we are in the consciousness that believes this is difficult, that this is hard, that there's not enough. There's an amazing shift that happens in us. Time seems to slow down. Time seems to literally halt. The same is true in money, right? When we've got enough to pay our bills, when we have enough to do everything we want, it's all blue skies. It's all wonderful. And yet, when we come across those moments when there seems to be not enough, when the bills outnumber the income, all of a sudden, panic can set in. Well, today we're going to talk about we're in the money. Literally, we are in the money. Meaning that there's no separation between us and money. Right? That money is an extension of who we are. As I mentioned earlier, here at Unity we teach that God, what we call God, Spirit, Universe, whatever name works for you, is constantly providing us everything we need. Proof being, take a deep breath. Is there an amount of air that you can't take in from the room? The only limitation is how much we're willing to exercise those lungs, how healthy we keep them, how in shape we remain. And there is research that shows, Dr. Brenda Wade was here 2 weeks ago talking about it, how those strands of DNA, the ends of our DNA strands, are affected not only by heredity, but also by what we think about our heredity. And that the actual thoughts we're holding about our life, about our body, about our finances, are affecting the DNA of our being. Wow. Right? The actual DNA of our being is being affected by the thoughts we think. Well, I believe, and I had experience of knowing, that the actual money I have is affected by what I think about the money. And I think it goes beyond me. Here's some examples from our own headlines. Fear hits the global markets, right? This is from the Wall Street Journal about one of the endless stock market crashes, right? Or it's crash, panic, bedlam. Sometimes not because anything happened, but because something is perceived to about to happen. And so as the fear and the panic takes over the market, we can lose trillions of dollars in an afternoon based on a worry that global markets are going to tank in the future. So it is literally about what we believe is going to happen affects what we think we have in the bank, or what the paper shows we're worth, or what the economy is. We lost trillions of dollars today in the stock market. Is that true? Karen, is that true that we lost? Karen teaches the word for word, right? Is that absolutely true that we lost?
What do you think what happens when you believe that thought?
Right. So what happens to all of us? Exactly. When we believe that we lost trillions of dollars, you can feel the constriction right now. Oh, if we just lost trillions of dollars, I better not spend on this. I better hoard. I better not give. I better protect myself. And all of a sudden we stop living our life, and time slows and our experiences shift. The reverse is also true. Do you remember the dot-com bubble here? Total irrational exuberance. It's all going to go on forever, and it's all going to be good. And let's buy this stock we know nothing about. Just because it's happening right now. Bitcoin, let's all jump in. I found this cartoon as I was looking at this. The economy today got a boost from Alan Greenspan, who says it's okay to be irrationally exuberant. So if someone else tells you it's okay to be irrationally exuberant, go for it, because they're the expert. And we automatically, and like great cheap. Give away our own power because someone else on a TV screen or in a print somewhere says is what's happening, that we all jump into the pit. You know, and there's, I believe, other ways to be. Money, it's been said by some people much smarter than I, is energy, right? It's just an extension of energy. Money is just a form. It has no real function other than what we give it. It has no real value. We've all pulled out the money we have in our wallets or in our pockets or purses right now. It is a piece of paper that we all believe is worth something. What if we believed that the dollar or the $100 bill we hold in our pocket right now was worth 10 times that? And we really believed it. What would you do with it? How would you treat it? But when you believe it's not enough, notice how your pocket stays closed, how you retreat from enjoying your own life. There's been a lot that's been said about money through all the years, but I do believe that money is God in action. If there's only one power and one presence active and working in the universe and in our lives, then that one has to be God. Right? So money is just a form of spirit, of divine energy. And who I choose to give it to and how I choose to spread it around only benefits good if that's my intention. Money is good. Money is absolutely good. Money is God. Now, if that statement, if my statements make you uncomfortable, if they make you go, oh, I invite you to look at it. To look at it, that you've cornered out some area of the planet, some area of our human experience, and you say, that's not of God. That's not spiritual. Money is spiritual. Period. If you put your intention on giving money for something to be prospered, grown, supported, it is an act of good in the world. Right? It is an act of God in the world. And we wouldn't be sitting in this building today without people giving money. Period. We own the building because people have given money joyfully, enthusiastically, lovingly, purposefully to support this community and to get this message out. Money is good. Money is God in action. But biblically, you might have heard a lot of different things about that, right? And culturally, of course, you've heard a lot of things. You know, you might have heard money is the root of all kinds of evil. And actually, that is in Scripture. St. Paul says it in 1 Timothy. And the only difference is that that's not the complete statement. The complete statement is the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. And that is quite a different thing. Love of money might induce us to hoard it, to make sure that no one else can touch it, to prize it above all else. When we realize that money is just a form of energy that is meaning something else in our life, it makes us, allows us, shifts us from the idea of limited resources to conscious resources. Where do I want to invest my money? And as Thornton Wilder said in The Matchmaker, money is like manure. It's no good unless you spread it around. And literally, where do I want to plant? What do I want to cultivate? What do I want to see more of? But that quote goes on, it's like, the love of money is the root of all kinds of evil. But recently you've noticed this trend that everybody's wanting to say the lack of money is the root of all kinds of evil. Meaning that when you don't have enough, people do horrendous things, and they do commit crimes, and they stop acting out of principle. Well, that may be true, But I've certainly seen people with lots of money who commit crimes and act out of principle as well. So I don't think it's really about money or lack of money. I think, and I have been privy to the experience in my own life, it's what I think about the money. I've shared with you before that when I got sober 15 years ago, I was pretty broke. I had destroyed my life, my physical life, luckily not my spiritual one. And when I stepped into that arena and I stepped back into a unity church, I stepped into a course, a teaching about abundance and prosperity. And I started practicing the spiritual tool of tithing, of taking 10% of whatever I had and giving it to where I was spiritually fed. Well, for 15 years now, I've done that. And what I've noticed in the practice is that I didn't wait till I had the money. I did the tithing practice first and watched how the money increased or stretched or shifted. And really what shifted was my thoughts about it. My thoughts about lack. My thoughts about prosperity. My thoughts about giving. And most importantly, my thoughts about receiving. I noticed in that journey all the different places I blocked my good. Oh no, it can't come from there because I don't like them. It can't come from this source because I didn't put anything in there. Whereas the universe has no restriction on where you can get your good from. You may give your good to someone you really love and expect the return to come from them. But there are 7 billion people on the planet. Your abundance, your prosperity, your good, your love can come from any one of them. What if you thought of every dollar in your pocket as love? Right? Every dollar in your pocket as a form of love. How would you give it? How would you spend your love? How would you spend your affection? To your home, to your family, to your community, to causes you care about, to your children, grandchildren, to your spouse. Because that's what it is. You are stating with your dollars what you value, what you appreciate, and what you love. So I don't think it's the money is the root of all kinds of evil. I don't think the lack of money is the root of all kinds of evil, or the love of money. I think that thinking that money is something separate from ourselves is the root of all kinds of pain, right? When we think that our financial life is not connected to our spiritual life, when we think that we are somehow separate from money, we are allowed to disassociate, allowed to step out of our conscious interaction in the world. And we carve out this little slice that says, not me, not spiritual, not good. There's been a whole teaching in many spiritual paths of the blessings of poverty. And that may very well be true. I know that some of the people on the planet who are the brokest are the happiest. Here in the United States, supposedly the richest country in the world, I wouldn't call us happy at the moment if you turn on a TV. It wouldn't call us enthusiastic, but what I would call us is pregnant. Pregnant with the possibility that something's got to break out. Something has to shift. Something has to move. So I ask you to look at everything. To look at it wholly, completely. Where is it that you want to share your love? And how do you want to share it? Where is it that you're willing to receive love? Right? Can you receive love today fully? When I was doing a workshop at Unity of New York about a year and a half ago, I did this exercise where everybody got an envelope, and as they opened the envelope, they pulled it out, and they had a dollar amount that they were going to get. You're going to receive $50,000. You're going to receive $10 million. You're going to receive $150 million. But what you have to do first is to plan how you're going to spend it, where you're going to put it, how you're going to enjoy it. And there was a woman in the class who said, no, 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 she got the $150 million, right? $150 million. And she said, this is too much. I can't take this. There would be nothing I could do with $150 million. It would make me uncomfortable. And I was like, wow. Anybody here with $150 million would be too much for them? If it is, you don't have to raise your hand. That's okay. But understand this, that is actually her honest truth. That she knew her consciousness couldn't comprehend what she would do with that kind of money. And our teaching and our understanding is that the universe will only give you as much as you can consciously accept. So she was setting a really clear limit. I don't want that kind of money. I don't want that kind of abundance. I don't want that kind of prosperity. And I kept questioning her. So there's no charity that you're involved with that you'd like to just pass that $150 million to. And just the idea of it was too much for her. So she said no. She wouldn't play the exercise. She wouldn't play the game. She wouldn't go there. My question to us all is, how do we play that game? How do we say no? That's too much. Whoa, I couldn't imagine that. No, it has to come from this source, right? It has to come from my job. It has to come from my relationship. It has to come from wherever you think your money's supposed to come from. Your pension, your retirement, the stock market, whatever, the house you're going to sell, when the universe might be saying, hey, here's $150 million. Boom. Too much. I know for myself that as I've stepped further and further into this idea of abundance and wrestled with my own limitations of it, that I find it in more places. And that woman was an incredible gift for me to look at and to see how I do that. How I'm not willing to accept how much I could take in and share as part of the incredible flow of life. I was recently at a couple of incredible events, where I was surrounded by wealth and opulence. And I went as a guest, and then another event I went because I bought a ticket and somebody had underwritten the whole event. And I'm sitting here I am in San Francisco in Palo Alto, surrounded by unbelievable amounts of wealth, prosperity, life, and love, right? And at the ballet, at the Ritz-Carlton, at the Palo Alto Country Club, all these different places, and I have to stop and consciously say, this is mine. I'm worth this. I'm part of this investment. I am in the money. Every penny I pay to attend this, everything I do as an extension of love is part of this exchange of good. I'm reader in the money. I am giving myself when I pay for a service. I am giving myself when I pay to or tithe to a charity. I am in the money as I give to people who bless me. I am in the money when I sign checks, when I click the button online and say, yes, I'm going to pay this bill. Yes, I'm paying for the lights. Yes, I'm paying for this article of clothing. I am giving my money for something and I'm in it. Fully, wholly, completely. Now, Dr. Brenda, who was here a couple of weeks ago, also taught us that it's not enough just to say these affirmations, but because we all come from a place that our parents taught us, our teachers taught us, our grandparents taught us a different way of being with money. My parents grew up or were born in the Depression, in the middle of the Depression. Both of my parents were born. If you're younger than I, your parents may not have been born in the Depression, but their parents lived through it. right? And that consciousness has been handed down from generation to generation to generation to me. And as I watch parenting my children, and I watched myself this morning as Roma was playing with her iPad and she left it on the floor, I said to her, no, you need to pick that up. That's expensive. Not just you need to pick that up. You need to pick that up because it's expensive, right? It's like there's a subtle difference that I looked at thinking, oh, there's a value in that little piece of electronics that I wouldn't give to a piece of paper she had been drawing and left on the floor. And my consciousness can shift and go, there's more than enough. That iPad has value because I've invested in it for many reasons, one of which is to help me babysit. The other is to educate my child. And the other is that it is part of the incredible abundance of the time we live in. So how do we shift? How do we shift? Dr. Brenda talked about not just saying an affirmation, but physicalizing it. Remembering that we are in the abundance, right? And she also talked about the neurological pathways that are made by tapping in your chest. If you were here with us last week, but she talked about hitting your sternum right here and saying, I am in the money. I am in the money. Can we say that together? I am in the money. I am in the money. I am in the money. And if that part doesn't work for you, if this isn't right, that's using your arms. I am in the money. 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 I am sending myself out with the money. I am bringing myself into the world. Every dollar that I give, I am grateful for every dollar. I am grateful for every opportunity. I am grateful that I am so prosperous. Now, as a community, we can do that too. How, when I first got here, someone got mad at me. Imagine that, right? Shocking, I know. But someone left in a huff because of something I did. And they wrote this letter to me as they walked out the door. And they said that, how dare you do this to our struggling little community? And I was like, well, there's an affirmation. Our struggling little community. So if you noticed on our vision statement, we are a vibrant spiritual community. Numbers have nothing to do with that, and struggling is a choice, right? Struggling is an absolute choice. So let's all say, we are a vibrant spiritual community. We are a vibrant spiritual community. We are prosperous. We are prosperous. I invite you, if that doesn't really land with you yet, I'm in the money, to stand up and say it. I am in the money. I am in the money. I am in the money. Money comes to me easily. Money comes to me easily. I give and receive with grace and enthusiasm. I give and receive with grace and enthusiasm. I am abundant. I am abundant. I celebrate money. I celebrate money. Know that money is God in action. I know that money is God in action. And that God cannot be limited. And God cannot be limited. I accept all that there is. I accept all that there is. I open my mind, my heart, and my very being. I open my heart, my mind, and my very being to all. To love. To love. To prosperity. To prosperity. To abundance. To abundance. This is how we shift ourselves and shift the world. Money is God in action. You are God in action. What is it that you want to affect in the world? How do you want to affect it? I invite you to stay standing in consciousness, to stay standing in your very presence, and know that your playing small does not serve the world. Period. I am so blessed. I am so grateful. Let's take that to our time of meditation.